All right, the South African Communist Party's 14th National Congress is now in its fourth day today. Last night, the organisation held its top leadership elections. SABC reporter Aldrin Sampear is there. He's been following it. Aldrin, lots of fireworks being released yesterday out of the Deputy President's mouth. He didn't hold back at all, did he? He was quite harsh in his criticism as to what's been going on behind the scenes with the Gupta family, which he actually named for the first time.
Well, certainly, yes. I was quite taken aback as well, just listening to the Deputy President speaking about the Gupta family and explicitly mentioning the Gupta family. If you remember in the previous speeches that he has given, speaking about state capture, is always referred to a certain family or families or corporates who have interest in capturing the state. And for the first time yesterday, explicitly mentioning the extent as well of a state capture. And the analogy that he used there was, it is a house on fire. The Commission of Inquiry should be instituted with immediate effect. The Independent Commission of Inquiry should be instituted with immediate effect. Someone else as well who's been quite critical of the influence of the Gupta family on the ANC as well as ANC deployees is the newly elected or re-elected General Secretary of the SACP, and he joins me now. And Dr. Blade, thank you so much for joining us this morning. We heard from the Deputy President saying that this Judicial Commission of Inquiry should be set up immediately. But what does immediately mean? In whose terms is immediately? If the President at this point seem a bit reluctant using what he says, he's still trying to challenge the Public Protector's remedial action that it should be the Chief Justice who appoints the judge.
Thank you and good morning. We agree with the Deputy President that the Commission must be set up as a matter of urgency. It does not mean that those who feel that they must take the Public Protector's report for a review have no right to do so. But we are saying that should not be an obstacle to setting up the Commission immediately. Because the sooner we have this Commission getting into the bottom of corporate capture of the state, things continue to just go haywire. I mean, these daily emails, revelations that are very embarrassing, you know, and they're actually hurting us as a movement, as well as the image of government. That is why we must actually be seen to be doing something as soon as possible. You know, we are of the view that a way will have to be found to actually overcome whatever seems to be the obstacle in setting up the commission, so that we don't have this perpetual excuse, you know. If we set this commission this time next year, I wonder where our image as a country would be by then.
What's the danger if the delay in setting up the commission continues?
The danger is that you have got these details that are emerging, which are hardly being contested, by the way, about these illicit parasitic networks involving the Guptas together with their associates in our movement and in the state. It actually is going to lead up to a situation where we look like a country that's paralyzed. In another country, some people will be facing trial at this point in time, you know, given what has actually come up. So this thing is actually just going to destroy the image of our organization.
The Deputy President yesterday spoke about protecting the sovereignty of the country, and he says that the state capture is a threat to the sovereignty of the country. Are you at all disappointed in the approach of President Jacob Zuma? You once have called for the President to publicly distance himself from the Gupta family as well.
We are indeed very disappointed, you know, that there is no firm leadership around this issue. To actually give our people hope and confidence that these things are not going to happen. This is one of the things that has caused the SACP to take the stance that it has actually taken, that we never in our wildest dreams thought that a country like South Africa, whose people fought such a heroic struggle against an evil system like apartheid, would actually end up handing over the country to a family to do as it wishes, you know, and also including, by the way, ravishing our sovereignty. Like the landing at the Waterkloof base, that was the worst, you know, in terms of the image of our country as a sovereign country.
And in terms of the relationship of the SACP and the ANC, if you read through the discussion documents of the SACP, you speak about how in 2007 there were hopes that the relationship between the SACP, COSATU and the ANC will be strengthened. And when you delivered the political review report, you spoke about how betrayed you feel as the SACP. Is it because of, I don't know, the role of President Jacob Zuma that you feel betrayed?
Well, look, we had lots of hopes, you know, in the wake of the Polokwane conference in 2007, that some of the things we were seeing going wrong, that we were unhappy about, as the SACP will actually get corrected. It started okay, you know, but as the political report of the Central Committee says, by 2014, we started seeing things that we had thought actually were not going to happen. You know, there is a faction at the moment that is in charge in the ANC, which is operating very brazenly as they were doing at the ANC policy conference. And nothing is being done about that. The president, who have approached him as the SACP to say, distance yourself from this faction, try and unite the organization. No, nothing is happening, you know. It's like business as usual. It's not that it's a secret. It's something that is well known. It looks like it doesn't care. Some of them, they tell us, what's wrong in having a relationship with the Guptas? There is everything wrong. That's why we hope this Congress will come out calling for the cutting off of the relationship between government and the Guptas.
You, as the party, has taken a decision calling on President Jacob Zuma to step down. One of the questions that I've always had in my mind is that, for instance, you are cabinet minister, we have the deputy chairperson of the party as well, also being part of cabinet. Have you guys, as SACP members who are in cabinet, ever gone to President Jacob Zuma and told President Jacob Zuma to step down instead of calling on him to step down from podiums?
No, I don't want to give details about that. Myself, I have engaged the president many times, and it was confidential engagement, so I'm not at liberty to actually share that, raising concerns on behalf of the SACP in particular.
What do you say then to people who are saying that Blade Nzimande is being hypocritical? If the SACP say President Jacob Zuma should step down, yet they are still serving under President Jacob Zuma, who is the de facto CEO of the country?
We are not hypocritical. The decision of the Central Committee was that cabinet ministers who are members of the SACP must stay put. This is a South African government. It doesn't belong to any individual. That was the attitude of the Central Committee, that we are serving the country by serving in cabinet. So that was the stance that we debated that thing extensively in our special Central Committee, and that was the decision that was taken by the Central Committee in its wisdom.
August the 8th, quite an important day, as Parliament will be sitting down. You'll be amongst those sitting in Parliament as it deliberates on the motion of no confidence against President Jacob Zuma. As the SACP, do you have a stance at all on how members of the SACP, or cabinet members, as well as MPs, should be voting on the motion of no confidence against the president, also taking into consideration what the ANC has said?
Look, all MPs are ANC MPs, so they are bound to be guided by what the ANC says. But at the same time, we are members of the SACP. We can't just blindly walk into a situation where we are being asked to endorse wrong things. The SACP will also have to tell us what to do closer to the time.
Will it be this Congress that would decide on this, or will you have a separate meeting just before August 8th?
Well, Congress has a right to discuss anything, but it's not a matter that is actually on the agenda.
I don't know, can I put you on the spot? Would you be able to tell us on August the 8th which way you'd be voting, whether it's open or secret?
No, I don't think that I want to talk about that now.
Okay, just finally, Minister, we expect the commission of inquiry looking into the availability or the feasibility rather of free education. We expect that report to be completed. I don't know if it's completed already. Just in terms of your expectations as the Minister of Higher Education and the processes to be followed after that report is compiled.
I hope that the commission now, they are writing the report, and the sooner they finish with it, the better for all of us, so that there is time for the president and government to respond, and so that whatever then is the recommendation, we also have time as the Department of Higher Education and Training to be ready for implementation of whatever the decision will be.
Thank you so much. There you have it from the SACP General Secretary, who has just been re-elected, Blade Nzimande. They're speaking about a whole host of issues, including the Gupta family, as well as confidence or lack thereof for President Jacob Zuma's leadership. But also the very important one is the Commission of Inquiry, or looking into the feasibility of free education, which has been a hot potato, something that has been debated for the past 3 years now. We'll have to wait and see exactly how that report comes out and what the President's pronouncements on that report will be. It's back to you in studio.